Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. You know, they say that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun. And that is in all likelihood true. But those who want to advance the cause of civilian disarmament argue all the time that that is just one big gigantic myth, that the existence of armed resistance does not deter, nor does it save lives. Now, I know that many of you would sit there and go, geez, you know, just from a common sense standpoint, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And you're right, it doesn't. But there's an opportunity now, legally speaking, for states to put their money where their mouth is and to prove once and for all whether this is true. And I encourage every state to do it because I believe that the proof will, in fact, bear out in the data. So today, I want to spend a few minutes and get everybody around the country up to speed on something that I believe is really important. So let's talk about the most important gun law that any state can pass right now. Okay, so recently we did this video right here. It was about a piece of legislation recently signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott down in the state of Texas. It was Texas House Bill 3. What Texas House Bill 3 did is it mandates at least one armed security officer at every school campus in the state of Texas. And it also requires some school districts to do an analysis because they, in all likelihood, are going to need more than one armed security officer depending on the size of the campus. Now, I think that this is a fantastic piece of legislation. I am thrilled to death about it for multiple reasons. Now, for those of you who've geeked out on this video or geeked out on this video, you know that I've gone through what I believe to be the only way to secure our schools in the here and now. And we take in those videos the assumptions of both those on the far left and those on the far right. We assume them to be both true, and we prove that neither one of those provide an immediate solution. We are still 100 to 150 years out, even if we adopt their solution as the gospel. So what can we do right away, right now, right this second to protect our kids? Because there is undoubtedly a huge problem with mass shootings in the United States, and there is a reason for which schools are so often selected as the target, because there is a known factor that there will be no armed resistance at any of these schools because they are gun-free zones. Now, why is this piece of legislation out of Texas such a valuable piece of information? Well, because if we could see a trend develop around the United States where many other states, those that approach these issues from a much more realistic standpoint, those who actually understand that it's not the guns that go into these places and shoot the places up all by themselves. In fact, there usually is a demented person behind the trigger of that gun. And so, what I am encouraging every other state to do is to pass similar legislation. And you see, this is the important part, because we here at Washington Gun Law always are trying to base our opinion and what we tell you on objective data. If we could get every state in the country, which right now is constitutional carry, that's 26 states, and to all pass similar legislation, we are absolutely positively going to have some data points 5 and 10 years down the road. They're going to show the frequency at which these mass shootings are occurring in states that do have these laws versus states that do not. We're also going to be able to compare the fatality rate in states where have these laws versus states that don't, okay? We're going to be able to compare the frequency of these types of events. And absolutely, without a doubt, we all know what the data is going to show, okay? Take a look at the Nashville shooting, okay? A terrible, terrible incident, but that Nashville shooter had selected 2 targets, ultimately eliminated one of the 2 targets because of the knowledge of armed security at that facility. So, if we had a huge wave of this type of legislation, similar to what we've seen with constitutional carry, and our map that of states that mandate armed security at schools went from this to this, and then suddenly a few years down the road, we took a look at where all of the mass shootings were occurring, and they were occurring in states like this, would there be any doubt anymore that the best way to in fact stop a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun. So for that reason, I am encouraging every state legislature, and whether you are in a red state, a blue state, or a purple state, it does not matter, because it's all about protecting our kids. And no matter what belief you have as to what the problem is, I can assure you that your solution is hundreds of years away from actually solving the problem. The one and only solution that actually protects the kids right now is to secure and arm the schools. Listen, you may have more questions about this issue or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now, but if you don't, that's okay, because that information is right down there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.